Our series of lightning tech talks showcasing biotechnology across America will continue with Jen MacDonald, Chief Operating Officer at the Advanced Regenerative Manufacturing Institute in New Hampshire.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's an honor to be with you today. And to the fireside chat just before me, I have the joy of speaking with you today about yet one more way that biotechnology will change all of our lives. I'm also one of those folks who wants that digital model of a cell, as do many of the innovators we work with. My background is I'm a family doc and an Army veteran. And I spent about a decade in healthcare policy and operations here in DC before moving very intentionally into a biotech innovation space in Manchester, New Hampshire, focused on cell-based technologies and the biomanufacturing tools that make scalable, cost-effective, consistent production possible. I made that move after seeing for the first time an automated manufacturing line making pancreatic islets for the treatment of diabetes. And I realized in this moment that that future is not 20 years from now. That future is not 10 years from now. It's not 5 years from now. It's now. These technologies are going to change the future in this country and around the globe. And this imperative, this urgency, deserves our collective leadership. It's why I'm so grateful to be with you today. It's why I am so grateful to be lifting up and contributing to the amplification of the important report that was just released by the NSCEB. I'm coming to you today in my role as COO of the Advanced Regenerative Manufacturing Institute. Notice it's not regenerative medicine, but regenerative manufacturing. What we do is put biology together with engineering, robotics, and automation to make that scalable, consistent, cost-effective manufacture of cell-based therapies possible. And again, this is right now. Thanks to initial investment from the Department of Defense, we have established the US-based capabilities to bring manufacturing, regulatory, other technical, supply chain, and commercialization expertise to innovators and guide innovators all the way from an initial academic spin-out all the way to market. We bring those capabilities to bear as a nonprofit, as a public-private partnership that has been of the type that has been lifted up on the stage by many speakers today. And we do that in order to make sure that the US bioeconomy advances and that we have an opportunity to do what we have long done well, innovate, and ultimately lead the globe in a way that benefits humanity. If you think about some of the most celebrated inventions in American history, some of our proudest moments, at the heart of those stories is manufacturing. You think about the light bulbs that light up this room. Thomas Edison rightfully gets credit for that invention, but it was actually Louis Latimer who developed a mass-producible carbon filament that brought that into our homes and businesses. If you think about Model T, we know that story. If you think about June 6, 1944, D-Day, what does manufacturing have to do with that one? Well, if crews working around the clock in New Orleans, Louisiana, hadn't manufactured more than 20,000 landing craft to be ready for that day, the outcome may have been different and the world may have been different. And we certainly know the story of semiconductors. We know now, the world knows, that where the manufacturing exists, the innovation exists, the market share exists, the jobs exist. We need to make sure that the exact same thing happens for manufacturing. We as an institute are working with as many innovators nationwide as we can accommodate. We have a thriving network of more than 200 innovation ecosystems that we put together to advance capabilities in this industry, to break down barriers and make sure that the whole entire US industry advances. But we need orders of magnitude more capacity to work with those innovators. As the report calls for, this has to become a national priority with a national innovation ecosystem focused on these technologies in order for us to continue to lead. We are poised to do that. We have that wraparound capability model that works. But as others have said before me, it has to scale. And we have to do that with the urgency that this deserves. Like those other stories, I will leave you with this thought. When we choose to lead in manufacturing, we lead the globe. I invite you to seek us out as an institute, whether you're an innovator, whether you're a policymaker, whether you're an investor, get to know us. We would love to work with you, and we'll grow this ecosystem together. Thank you.
Next, please welcome Eric Jorgenson, Vice President of Biomanufacturing Development at East Tennessee State University.
Hey, I just want to say what an honor it is to be up here and even be on the same stage as so many leaders in industry and research and government. Truly, profoundly humbling. So, wow, thank you for having me. So, my name is Eric Jorgenson. I work for the ETSU Research Corporation. So we're a small nonprofit in the mountains of Appalachia. We're affiliated with the university, but I'm not an academic, I don't teach. I come with 15 years of industrial fermentation experience. And so what we're trying to do at the Research Corporation is lay the foundation for the bioeconomy in our region, in the heart of Appalachia. So there's a whole bunch of different things we're working on, but I'll tell you about a few of them. So we've kind of narrowed our focus to 3 areas where we have identified some rate limiting steps for this industry. So number 1, feedstocks. So feedstocks are a problem. We need to find a way to decouple the biomanufacturing industry from the human food supply chain that currently runs on corn dextrose. So when you look around our region, what can you do with what you have, right? So we have a number of industries that have really quite large, sizable industrial waste streams, side streams, byproducts, things like this. So everything from timber mills, pulp and paper manufacturing, chemical synthesis companies. When viewed from the perspective of a microbiologist, a lot of these make really attractive feedstocks for your macronutrients for fermentation. So we are actually on a project that has been funded by the Department of Defense, the Defense Industrial Base Consortium, to prototype a bioprocess capable of utilizing some of these waste streams to produce valuable bioproducts. So feedstocks is one. Number 2 is scale-up infrastructure. There's been a lot of talk about this at this event and over the past several years. But the bottom line is we need more capability and we need more capacity to drag that research out of the petri dish and make something real in the world. So what are we doing about it? We've identified a facility in Kingsport, Tennessee, 100,000 square feet, around 30 labs, 144 acres of land, and we're trying to repair it, renovate it, and retool it to be dedicated for biomanufacturing scale-up and make a bunch of those labs open for startups and entrepreneurs. We're also working with the Appalachian Regional Commission we've already kitted out a couple of those labs with all of the equipment that you need, at least at the benchtop scale, to take something from research to minimum viable product. So we are looking for opportunities to put steel on the ground and develop a pilot facility as well. That'll be in the future. But yeah, so we're working on scale up as well. And then the last is workforce. So this is a problem with a pretty long lead time, right? Between the time someone enters high school to when they're ready to actually be hired by a company and start delivering value in industry, at least 4 to 8 years, right? So we actually had to start on this one first. So we have been coordinating with the BioBuilder Educational Foundation, Dr. Natalie Koldell, who you heard earlier, and all the fantastic work that she's doing. And we were able to put that world-class curriculum, we were able to bake that into every single high school science course in many schools throughout our districts. So to be clear, we have rural Appalachia and every high schooler is being exposed to synthetic biology curriculum, which is pretty fantastic. So that's a really important first step. So next, we're supporting our university, East Tennessee State University, with their program through BioMade to develop some micro-credentials. So what this is gonna look like in practice is that students can come and get trained on a very specific concept of downstream bioprocessing. And they'll understand how it works, why it works, how to operate the equipment safely, how to clean it. And then that way when they go into industry, the only training that's left is here's our specific make and model, and here's how you use ours. But all of that foundational knowledge will be laid. So these are some of our goals. These are some of our aspirations. So we can't do this alone. We're looking for partners. We're looking for collaborators. I think most importantly, we're looking for coordination too. There's so many organizations around this nation that are doing exceptional work in their own areas. And the more we can understand, left hand what the right hand is doing, the more our efforts can be synergistic together. So please reach out. Thanks.
For our last Tech Talk of the day, please welcome Dennis Ridenour, President and CEO of Bionexus Kansas City.
Good afternoon, Good afternoon, everyone. I want to first start by just thanking the organizers for the invitation, and I think congratulate them, not just on the report. I think we've all acknowledged the value of that report, the significance of that report, but the event today, the speakers, at least up until me so far, have been incredible. The content has been really valuable, and so just, just congratulations on a really nice event. So I am up here representing Bionexus KC. We are an organization, we're the backbone life sciences organization for the Kansas City region. And that is a 4-hour drive stretching from Columbia, Missouri to Manhattan, Kansas. It's a bi-state region. And what we do, how we operate, is we work with the organizations in the region, universities, industry, community organizations. We identify those overlapping priorities and we convene everyone and move the region forward collectively. So over the years, we've had some significant impacts on really the biggest events on the life sciences history of Kansas City. For example, one of our early strategic reports identified that we had the world's largest cluster of animal health companies located between Manhattan, Kansas, and Columbia, Missouri. And from that realization was born the Animal Health Corridor, which is an initiative that still exists. It brings thousands of people into Kansas City. It recruits companies, retains companies, scales companies right in Kansas City. Another example, very relevant to today, is we were involved very early on in the 2000s with helping to develop the proposal that drew and recruited successfully the National Bio and Agri-Defense Facility into Manhattan, Kansas. And so this is NBAF. It's the replacement for Plum Island. It was awarded to Kansas in 2007, broke ground in 2015, and now is up and running and operational and scaling towards BSL-3, BSL-4 facilities, really for the research, development, and manufacturing of vaccines to protect our food supply. More recently, we've been focused on biologic innovation, biologic development, and biomanufacturing. And that's what I'm going to tell you about a little bit today. We are home to the KC BioHub, which is our region's EDA-designated tech hub, focused on establishing our region as a global leader in biomanufacturing over the next 10 years. So why now? I won't go too deep into that because I think today has been all about that, right? But two things I'd point out. We've all acknowledged pharmaceutical pipelines are shifting. They're moving away from small molecule, or they're embracing precision therapeutics, biologic innovations at a much higher scale. So the market is shifting that way. And then regardless of who's in the White House, we've seen support for onshoring of manufacturing and bringing manufacturing back to the US. And we think our region is nicely positioned to grab that opportunity and to really be a home of biomanufacturing specifically. So why Kansas City? So we have, I think, a few things that are really important here. One, I mentioned that we have the Animal Health Corridor. What a lot of people don't know is we're actually already home to a very significant biomanufacturing cluster. So 27% of the world's animal health vaccines are manufactured in our region between Columbia and Manhattan. So that's already a very significant cluster, and the work of the KC BioHub is focused on continuing to strengthen that cluster while building out adjacent strengths in human health. And we actually have a sizable cluster in human health vaccine manufacturing as well. Something like 2% of the global human health vaccines are produced in our region as well. We also have one of the largest CRO clusters and CDMO clusters, and so we have a huge amount of talent and regulatory experience that can help accelerate the development of therapeutics and get them out to the clinic at a faster pace. And then finally, I've mentioned a few assets that we have in BAF, the Animal Health Corridor. We also have a number of organizations that have a heavy focus on biosecurity and biodefense, and they're developing technologies, they're helping companies develop technologies in that space specifically. So in BAF, MRI Global, I talked about the Midwest Institute for Defense and Energy. We have companies that are here. Roanoke is a company that is based in Kansas City, developing biotools that have biosecurity and biodefense applications. So what are we doing? I'll just hit on that really quickly. We have the needs of three stakeholder groups in mind as we develop our priorities. It's entrepreneur, it's industry, and it's community. And all of our work is focused on addressing the needs of those three groups. So first, we're going to build lab space. This is incubator, graduation wet lab space to support early stage and scaling companies who are developing biologic innovations, who are scaling up their biomanufacturing processes. We are also developing incentives and being very aggressive about recruiting companies to the Kansas City region, about helping the companies that we have expand and scale. And that's going to result in 10,000 good jobs over the next 10 years. And we are heavily focused on that. Natalie's already got one shout out. I'll give her another one. We're working closely with her. We're looking at skills-based hiring, the Bioscience Core Skills Institute, and Angela Kinsani. But good job in our mind, in our region, is defined as $25 or more an hour, benefits and a path, career advancement, and not requiring a college degree. So these are very accessible jobs that are really addressing some of the biggest needs in our community. And then finally, we're focused on educating more investors and bringing more capital to bear on the companies that are in our space that are scaling and developing biotools, biologic innovations, and even the processes around biomanufacturing. So my guess is you've likely not thought of Kansas City as a spot where you would locate biomanufacturing or even has a presence in biomanufacturing. I think through the work of the KC BioHub, through initiatives like this, I think that you very soon will. So at Bionexus KC and the KC BioHub, we'd love to connect. We are also looking for partners, so please feel free to reach out. But thank you very much.
Our next panel, Out Innovating Our